what drives you now? What are you passionate about? What gets you up every morning?
What gets me up every morning, I think, is my children. I need to put a good example for my children. They're growing up and I want them to know that anything is possible. If one person can do it, anybody could do it. My family is what drives me.
Do you talk to your kids a lot about how you got into the business and how you created this amazing career? Do you talk pretty deeply about that with them?
I do every day, all the time, as much as I can. I do talk to them. My biggest fear, my kids going the wrong way or going through the wrong road. Mm-hmm. So I do try to talk to them a lot. I tell them everything that I do and they listen. And I feel like my kids are very proud of me.
Welcome everybody to the episode number 70 for the Headed Home podcast. We are your hosts, Andrew and Jen. We've got a very special guest with us today, Brenda Fields.
Whoop, whoop.
We are excited to get through 70 episodes. Remember the first one?
Oh, the first one.
Or the first couple.
Yeah.
It took a long time to get here.
Oh, man. It was 2019 and us being so...
We didn't have video at the time. It was all audio.
Oh,
but
okay.
It's taken a while to get all the logistics of the technology in place.
We would just we would drink and the ice would be rattling in the background, remember?
I forgot about that.
Yeah. And our kids would be upstairs yelling at each other. Be like, shut up.
Yeah, shut up. We're on the podcast. This is
and
important.
you're sitting there
yeah.
Exactly. Well, Brenda, so thank you for being here. We want to introduce you to our audience. And we met you recently. We actually had a mutual buyer that we were helping with a real estate transaction. And she found you individually and she had found me individually. So it kind of teamed us up on a transaction. And I've been in lending for 15 years. And so I work with a lot of different agents and a lot of different clients, obviously, as well. But I could just tell on the agent side of things that you and your team were really on top of it. And the transaction went really smooth and it was just great working with you. And then we looked you up after the transaction, saw that you do a lot of business. You're doing some cool things on social media. So we wanted to have you here and maybe just give a little introduction about you and maybe how you got into real estate too.
Sure. And first and foremost, thank you for the invitation. I am excited for this opportunity as well. So yes, I've been in real estate. This will be my 6th year in real estate. The way I got in was I was in property management prior for 15 years. So I kind of feel like it gave me a foot in the door somehow. I loved property management, but I kind of just didn't see too much advancement at the end there. So I was kind of looking for something new. I loved helping families find a home. So I did have a friend at the time that got into real estate. And within a year, it was she boomed. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And she actually gave me the opportunity or invited me to be a transaction coordinator back in, 2020?
Okay.
So when I was a transaction coordinator, I learned basically the ins and outs of real estate pretty quickly. And I think the first year of real estate was when COVID happened.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. 2020, interesting time for the market. Interest rates they hit rock bottom. I think it was March or April of 2020.
Do you remember that day? I'll never forget this. And what month did you start? You were in the summer, right? You started,
yes.
I remember.
Yeah.
I'll never forget Andrew, because he worked upstairs and I was on our main level or whatever with the kids. And he comes down and he's like, I don't think we can no one can buy a house right now. Remember,
it was kind of
so
sketchy.
Weird.
Yeah, right before you got in. And that was a really crazy time. But yeah, title companies had shut down and we had a bunch of people already under contract. So there was a lot of what do we do? Can they not buy the house now? So that was crazy. But it was also kind of a booming time because interest rates were so low. And there was a lot of people trying to get into the market then. So probably a decent time to jump in for you, but also there was a lot of agents were getting in at that time and everyone was fighting over business. So so as a transaction coordinator then, were you helping write the contracts or just manage those? What exactly were you doing as a transaction coordinator?
I was helping all agents, in the brokerage with their transactions from the beginning to the end.
Gotcha.
I was writing contracts. I was sending out, CDAs. I was doing everything that had to do with what happens after you go under contract. And when I was studying for my real estate license, and I think it was November when I passed my test, and seeing like all these agents making all this money, and I'm like, I want to make that money. So I don't want to be a transaction coordinator anymore. So when COVID happened, they let me go. They told me that I wasn't going to be able to be a TC anymore just because of what was going on, and they couldn't afford the position anymore. So I freaked out, to be honest. I did freak out.
Because you left your property management job, took the leap into a similar industry, but took the leap into a brand new job.
How old were your kids in this moment? Because that was like a really scary time, I feel like, for...
Very scary time. I mean, my oldest was, I want to say 15. So, and then I have 4 kids. And it was really scary because I'm a single mom.
Right.
I just quit my property management job that I made pretty decent money. So yes, it was scary. But to me, I felt like the pressure was what helped me. It helped me grow my business. My first year of real estate, I closed 28 deals.
Damn.
So I'm pretty proud of that. Like I said, the pressure, I feel like that's what pushed me. I did everything and anything that, would help me get business at the time. So it was a tough moment, but a moment of growth as well.
Andrew and I talk about this a lot. Like, we don't have, like for us growing up, like we don't have necessarily like a safety net where like we've both worked since we were 16 years old. Right. And so I think sometimes when you're in a place where your back's against the wall, like you got to figure it out. Like you don't have an option. Right. And so do you feel like there was a little bit of that for you in that moment?
Absolutely.
Where you're like, this is it. I got to figure it out.
Like 100%. I was sitting there one day in my room and I was like freaking out and just kind of going through everything that an agent does just to kind of prepare myself and see what I was going to face out there.
So you were only a few months into doing being a TC and when they let you go and then just said, hey, you got to go full time on your own?
No, it was actually a year.
It was a year.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you had a little bit of background.
Yes.
Like Jen said, like, I think it's interesting when people's backs are against the wall. A lot of people would quit in that situation, and just be like, oh, I'm going to go back to like the safety of property management. So that's really cool that you just like, you went like straight through it and you were like, okay, my back's against the wall. I'm going to be successful no matter what. Has that always been a part of you, or is that something that developed later in your life?
I think when it developed in my life was when I became a single mom. I lost my husband at a very young age. So I think that that's what molded me and what made me the person who I am. Like, I feel like I am a fighter just because I'm not the type of person that likes to ask for help. I don't like to ask for help a lot.
Yeah.
So I just kind of have molded myself to a strong person. And just needing to figure things out. I feel like just being the single mom was what has pushed me.
Yeah.
I know. Well, one, I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. But I think when I think about my own experiences in my life that have been really hard, like there's so much growth in like the adversity that you're, and I guess not everyone takes those lessons necessarily, but I love and appreciate people that do when they are just faced with a really, frankly, awful situation. And it's like, well, can't change this. So like, what am I gonna like take from it and learn from it? Because that's not easy to do all the time,
Yeah, that must have been a really hard time. How old were your kids?
My kids were 4 and 5.
Gotcha.
At the time, they were very, very young.
Oh, geez.
And I did get remarried, but the relationship didn't work out, obviously. So I became a single mom again. With 4 kids this time.
I'm back.
I'm back, but I know how to do it.
Yeah, see, you're good. You're good.
But yes, it's a very difficult situation. And like you guys said, a lot of people don't take it very, very easy. I think it was mostly the fact that I didn't like to ask for help very much that made me stronger.
Yeah.
I was always just trying to figure things out. And, I would ask for help from my family if I had to get to that point, but somehow, life compensated me one way or another. And, the first year of real estate, what made me just continue with real estate and not looking for a job was 1 month that I went under contract with 13 transactions. And I was just like, wow, did I just do that? Like, okay, if I can do this in 1 month, then I can do it. I can do it for a lifetime.
Do you ever have those moments in your life where and it might be like something new or like you just did something where you ask yourself that very thing and you're like, man, I just figured this thing out. And like you almost like open this door of possibility to like, well, if I could do this, like what else could I figure out? Like it's like that feeling is super cool when you do something like that because you realize that like here are all these people in the world that are just like sort of figuring stuff out and we all just like stumble around until we figure stuff out, but sometimes I think when you're younger or you don't have information, necessarily, or you feel like other people have more information than you and you're like, oh, I can't do that. Like they have something else that I don't have. And it's like, no, they really just kept trying shit,
They didn't give up.
Totally.
They didn't give up.
So true.
Situations that make you stronger, they basically just make you see how strong you really are as a person and how strong you can become.
Totally.
It's
so true.
How stressful was that though? Like even now, 5 years into the business, like if you have 12 or 13, people under contract, that's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of deadlines. There's a lot of emotions. Like, was it crazy stressful at the time or did you just handle it like normal?
It was stressful just because I was a new agent. So, I knew what I was doing, but it was still like, oh my goodness, like this is a high volume. Like, what do I do? But I had a lot of help. I had a transaction coordinator. I have a transaction coordinator who helps me with the transactions. And then I have a team as well that helps out. We kind of help each other out in every way. We can possible.
So tell us about that. Like, did you always have the team with you, like even from when you started, or did you have to like do some deals on your own and then start building a team from there? Like, when did the team thing come into play?
The team thing came into play. It was about 2 years after I got my license.
Yeah.
I was actually mentoring within 2 years of being in real estate.
Gotcha.
I was mentoring about 7 agents under me. And then one day I found an opportunity with another brokerage, but the brokerage actually wanted a team lead. So I wasn't fully prepared to be a team leader. But somehow I attracted a lot of agents to come with me or, for us to go together and we just became a team. I want to say it was like 10 of us and they wanted me to be the team leader. So I became their team leader unexpectedly.
Surprise.
See, well, okay. I'm fascinated by this because I think we've had a lot of conversations on this podcast about this, and I've dealt with it a lot personally too, like having success as a sales professional, right? And then you're like, okay, I'm super successful. And then it's like, okay, I can do this. I can be an example. I can mentor other salespeople. And then you start mentoring them and you start leading them. And to me, I realized like, whoa, like that's a completely different skill set. What made me successful as a loan officer is completely different skills than what might make me successful as a branch manager. Did you run into that at all?
I did because I knew what I was doing and I knew how to do it. But teaching someone else is definitely, it's a different situation. Like it's...
Because everyone learns different too.
Everybody learns different. So to me, like one of my philosophies is, try it all. Because what might work for one agent may not work for another agent. What might work for you may not work for another agent. So, just try everything.
That's good advice.
And to me, I feel like my team actually helped me become more of a better leader. We worked together, we grew together, we helped each other out, and it just kind of the way that I kind of see it is, what did I need when I started real estate? You know, a lot of the times you go to these brokerages and they teach you the same thing over and over, but they don't actually teach you, like, how do you do it? Like, what do you say? How do you say it? You know?
Yeah.
And so I kind of just structured my team in a way where I help them out from ABC, basically.
Gotcha.
I try to
And you try
put myself in their position.
Right. And remember what you felt
And
like.
remember.
Yeah.
What's been the hardest thing about just navigating and managing other humans?
The hardest thing for me has been managing it and trying to build my business at the same time, my own business. Like, it was a little difficult in the beginning just because, like I said, I was a new leader. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to lead. But somehow, you know, they trusted me with their business. So, you know, I made it happen, but it was still a struggle for me to kind of manage my own time and manage the time that I needed to be with a team or with an agent.
That's a hard shift, going from like just your people that you're helping on the street, you know, in a transaction, to then being like a mentor for other agents. That was always the hard part for me too, from a leadership standpoint. When like an issue would come up, it would just be like frustrating. Like, how come this is coming up now? Or why didn't you just do it this way? You know, so I don't think, it sounds like you had a more empathetic approach.
As a leader of our family, I'm the leader of our family. I struggle.
I'll let you take that
I
one.
struggle with you sometimes. Just kidding.
Yeah, go on. I don't know where this is going. But
There's always a struggle somewhere.
I'm just kidding.
there is. It's hard leading people, though. I mean, it's hard leading. Yeah. First of all, though, I think you have to know how to lead yourself too. And I think being in a team lead role or a leadership role and being a successful agent, like, you obviously have had to build some habits in your life that have propelled you. What would you say, like, right now are some things that you do on maybe a daily basis or a weekly basis that like puts you in that zone or puts you in that mindset to be successful?
My calendar. I feel like my calendar is my best friend. I add everything.
This just
to my
makes me
calendar.
giddy.
Jen's just
I'm
sparks
like
are flying
overjoyed
right now. Jen's
of
eyes
just like
just sparkling.
swoon.
Yeah, the calendar talk.
If it's not on my calendar, you're not going to see me there.
Yeah, no.
You probably
No,
won't.
done. Here's the other crazy part is how do people not operate with a calendar?
Right.
Or like, I just actually don't even understand what that looks like. Can you imagine?
I did it before being in mortgages.
What is life like?
I mean, it's kind
Tell
of
us
fun.
from the
Like,
outside.
it's you feel like more spontaneous. Like, you don't get shit done, you know, but like, you can just at the drop of a hat, like, go meet your friends for drinks, you know?
Did I ever tell
And
you?
that's how it was back then, at least.
Did I ever tell you? So how Andrew and I communicate stuff, like we'll email, you know, like just whatever, like if there's like personal things that we just have to take care of with the family or whatever. But I'll like put things on our calendar, you know, that like are happening, and he'll come along and freaking decline.
Yeah, worst decision I ever made was like giving Jen access to my calendar. So I'll just like pull it up and it'll be like 4 new events, and I'm just like, what? So I decline now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude,
my
totally.
God.
Yeah, and the patio is this weekend. Cleaning the patio
Yeah, we'll
off.
see.
Yeah,
It was last
it's on the
weekend, too, and
calendar.
it didn't get done.
It's on the
I should
calendar.
put it on the calendar.
Yeah, it's on the calendar,
It didn't
homie.
get done last
Yeah.
week.
Oh yeah.
All
Well, it
that
will
is
this.
not top priority. Okay, so calendar's big. And then, well, in like real estate too is a reactive job, right? Do you try and build like proactive things in throughout the day, like a business building or, you know, anything along those lines?
You mean as far as like what my agenda is during the day?
Yeah, like just to like keep business going, because I always struggle with that. Like how, like we got a bunch of deals that we're working on. Where can I find time to like go wave in new business? You know, and a lot of times you don't if you don't calendar that. So I'm assuming maybe you just build that in by using the calendar.
Just blocking your time. You know, I like to take Sundays. I like to take like 15 to 20 minutes out of my Sunday to kind of plan out my whole week. You know, what's the most important thing that you need to get done this week? And I add them to my calendar. So that way I know when I have to prospect, when I have to lead generate, you know, and I'll time block that time as well. And I think that's helped me. And the way that I feel like I'm successful with that is that in my mind, to me, I tell myself, this is my 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
My business is a 9 to 5. How do I want someone to run my business? That's how I need to run my own business.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't just wing it. You have to plan it out and make sure that, your week is going to be a week of getting things done.
I would imagine that your conversations with like new agents or like people on your team that join, that would be like a really important part to communicate to them. Because I think when you're starting your own business, you like see that you have all the, like, it's up to you. Like no one's like standing over you being like, you got to get all this stuff done. Like it's on you, right?
It's on you. Yeah.
And so there is a level of freedom and you have to be really intentional with like what your time looks like. So I could imagine that would be like a big piece for supporting team members just around mentorship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's like the number one thing that I help them with in the beginning is, okay, let's look at your calendar.
Mm-hmm.
What is important in your life with your family, with your daily routine? What are your non-negotiables?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to add those to your calendar. And from there, we just, we organize it and we go one step at a time.
I love that.
These strategies that you're talking about with sitting down, looking at your calendar on Sunday, finding out the non-negotiables, time blocking those into the calendar so that they don't get missed, treating it like a legit appointment, even though it is what we call like a quadrant 2 activity, something that is important but not urgent. We know it needs to get done. We're blocking it in. Where did you learn that? Like, did that come from a book you read? Did it come from coaching?
Honestly, everywhere. One of the things that I do like to do is I love going to seminars. I love going to, I love listening to speakers, like Tom Ferry, and also a coach. I did actually get a coach just because I wanted to become a better leader. So I recently started with one.
Awesome.
And I feel like she's helped me out tremendously to try to structure my team and how I've been structuring my team. And I feel like it's worked just because, my team is doing great, thank God. But I feel like a lot of it has been, just educating myself.
I love the coaching. I've done it as well. Jen coaches people and and you've done some coaching, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think what's great about when you have a coach, it's not like an evaluator or someone that's going to be like, you can be open with them. It's like this friendship supporter who's like in your corner, can say hard shit if they need to, there's just this feeling of, I even remember.
See your blind spots too.
Totally. And they're there, right? Like you don't have, even coaching athletics, you have things that we were just talking to our kids last night about that. But like you can, as a coach, like you need to do the things to motivate the person to do the things that they might not do otherwise, right?
Absolutely.
On their own.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Or that they might not think that they're capable of accomplishing too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And as a leader, you have so many people below you and you're trying to motivate them, but who's motivating you?
Oh,
so it's like, we need that person to motivate us as well, to keep us accountable as well. And it's been a great experience for me for sure.
An accountability buddy.
Yeah.
Accountability buddy.
I asked Andrew one year because we have these like goal books or whatever, and he used to have his friend be his accountability buddy.
Can you say that word?
No, I cannot. And I was like, I want.
Slow down.
I was like, can I be yours? And he's like, absolutely
No.
not. You cannot.
No. You've got my calendar. That's enough. Okay.
She's already controlling this.
Yeah.
I know. I have to decline you. I feel like I'm rejecting you every time I do that.
The czar has spoken. Sorry, just kidding.
Accountability is definitely needed though. Like it's a must.
Totally.
So before you had coaching, like, and still even now that you're working with a coach, like what sparks you? Like what drives you? What are you passionate about? Because like, and you're newer into the industry, in my opinion. 5 years though, you're experienced now. But like the longer that we're in it, I feel like there have been times where it's like, all right, I gotta like get remotivated again, and like you have to create, especially after you have some success. You're like, okay, I'm making a little bit of money. I'm like, okay, maybe you bought a house, maybe you like accomplished some goals. What drives you now? Like, what are you passionate about? What gets you up every morning?
What gets me up every morning, I think, is my children. I need to put a good example for my children. They're growing up and I want them to know that, anything is possible. If one person can do it, anybody could do it. And that's my family is what drives me.
Do you talk to your kids a lot about how you like got into the business and how you've like created this amazing career. Do you like talk pretty deeply about that with them?
I do every day, all the time, as much as I can. I do talk to them. My biggest fear with my family has been, my kids going the wrong way or going through the wrong road. So I do try to talk to them a lot. I tell them everything that I do. And they listen. And I feel like my kids are very proud of me, and they do take everything that I say as, a learning experience.
I got a couple other questions. And I know this is a broad one, but and I don't want to get too nitty gritty into the real estate world. But if you're talking to, say, a first time home buyer or someone who's renting right now, and they're thinking I want to buy a house, but I don't know if it's a good idea. I know interest rates are high. I know home values are up. What kind of just general advice would you give someone like that?
Honestly, when someone comes to me and tells me, or a client comes to me and tells me, when is the best time to buy? My answer is always as soon as you're able to, as soon as you're able, willing, and ready. That's when you want to buy. Of course, I'm not the pushy agent either. I like to listen to the client, I like to listen to their situation. And if it's not a good time for them, I let them know it's not a good time for them until it is, and we can connect then. But I don't like to be pushy either. Yeah. But definitely, when you're ready, willing, and able.
Yeah. I like that. And we talk a lot about that too. I think a lot of people need education too. When first time home buyers will, come to us, a lot of times they just have no idea, what even is your payment based on these higher interest rates or based on, the higher home prices. So I feel kind of giving them that space to learn, is good. But I think,
and educating them on the market, educating them on how real estate really works. Because a lot of people are misled as well. They think they need 20% down. They don't know that there's programs out there that can help. So just educating them as much as you can as well.
Yeah. I was talking to a client recently, and their payment, they were looking at a mortgage payment that was $3,000 a month. And they were just oh my gosh, that's super, I don't want to pay that. And then I was well, what are you paying in rent? And I think they said $2,500. And then we did the math, and it was okay, it was $2,500 times 12, which somewhere around $30,000 a year. And it was you're paying $30,000 a year to your landlord as it is. Right. You're going to be paying that anyway, but you're also going to be paying your balance down. You're going to be investing in home ownership that the house should appreciate or could appreciate. So education is a big thing that I think those people need to know.
I have one final question that I'm a surprise question. It's really not that much of a surprise. Don't freak out. Tell me your craziest moment. Just kidding. So if you had one book, or it could be an idea, but really anything, but a book would be great. What is one thing that has really changed your life?
If she could write a book, you're saying, or tell us
something that she has read.
Oh, I got you.
Okay. Or if you want to write a book, tell me what you would write about. I like to write a book too. Yeah, you can choose. You can choose your own adventure.
Yeah. Tell us if you were to write a book, what it would be about, or if you want to share a recommendation of a book.
I think maybe the book would be about don't limit yourself in the world because anything is possible. And it would probably be a woman book.
Love it.
A book for women, to empower women and make them see that, you can make things happen on your own. You don't always need somebody next to you.
We don't need you. Just kidding. I mean, I do. I do like having you. I do.
Just kidding.
I do like having you around, though.
I appreciate that.
Definitely. I mean, a partner's definitely something you want to have around. But, not all of us have that yet or, at all. So some women feel just because they're alone, they're limited.
Yeah.
And I just want them to know that they're not limited.
I love that. Well, I think your entire life has been really a testament to the fact that you're not limited and you can live your life in a way that shows that to others, which I'm sure they see. And it's incredible for your kids to see too.
Yep. And then take your struggles as, as a motivation, not something that you're, feeling sorry for yourself. No.
Have you ever read that book by Viktor Frankl called Man's Search for Meaning?
No.
It's really good. I read it when I was sick, but it was essentially, long story short, it's during the Holocaust and he's in a Jewish camp. And basically the whole thing is really connected to how you have control over your mindset regardless of what's going on around you. So you can have all of these like awful, terrible, horrible things going on, but like you still have control and power over the mindset and the way in which you walk into those experiences and how you walk out of them or how you're perceiving them. I always think about that because, life is full of hard shit.
Yes.
Like it just is.
Shit happens.
Like, right. And stuff that, I mean,
Like you can't move your neck right now.
I literally can't move my neck right now, you guys.
I couldn't move my back last week.
You threw your back out.
It's so sad. I'm like this like all day. Like,
I know you're doing good.
I'm doing better than I was yesterday, but like it is what it is, right? And so I think just like keeping that in the back of your mind of like, yeah, like this happened to me, but like, what am I going to do with it? You know,
your mind is a powerful thing.
I know.
So yes, definitely. How you perceive life and how you see life, how you walk around, it's going to reflect on your life.
Totally.
Yeah.
And the people around you.
Yes. You have to be positive. Always positive. And that's one thing that I'm so grateful for now that the team that I have now, we have our struggles as well. We've had our struggles, but now I feel like we're in a position where my team is positive. We're all positive. We are,
That's cool.
Our mindset is at the right place. And, I love it.
That's great.
Well, that takes some work too. Like you got to be intentional about it. You have to be like constantly checking yourself of like, how am I showing up, and what am I focusing on?
Yeah.
You got to feed your mind with positive things
Absolutely.
to keep that mindset.
When you wake up, you have to, start with your gratitudes, your affirmations,
Yes.
and your day will be
so
amazing.
different.
Yeah. Because we all have stuff to be grateful for.
Absolutely.
No matter what. Yeah,
Absolutely.
No matter what's going
I
on.
feel like you're talking about my bad attitude yesterday.
I'm not at all. I would have been pissed too if I can't move my
We
neck.
have
I'd
those
be
moments
frustrated.
too. We
You
just need to
totally
learn
do.
how to.
But you just,
Right.
you have to like.
But the
be
gratitude thing is big though
It
too,
is.
because like literally you could find like I'm grateful that I have like a breath in my lungs,
I know.
Yeah.
that
I
I'm
know.
here, like I have or
Right.
opportunities or past experiences, whatever, and I think that's good to teach your kids too, which it sounds like you probably do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is like you got to have that mindset of like looking on the bright side and having gratitude, or else stuff
And
can
it's
get dark.
hard because
It is.
things happen, and
Totally.
it's very easy for you to fall into the negative side, and
Mhm.
But yeah, your mindset it's your best friend. So
Yeah, I feel like we're like geared towards that too, like
Yes.
finding the bad stuff. Like, okay,
Oh.
what can I protect my? Like, it's
Well,
like your
a
mind is
danger.
always there.
A danger. Like you're always looking out from a biological standpoint of what's going to get you.
Yeah,
When I drive. What are you laughing at?
I don't know.
That I'm looking at you with my side
she's
eye.
like this.
I know. Totally.
What are you laughing at?
So great.
Sorry.
No,
Jen's like, watch. When
I
you
know.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have a bunch of shit on my calendar tomorrow.
Wait till you see what happens this weekend, sucker. No, when I drive the kids to school, like we go, and it's a routine now. Like when we drive to school, it's what are we grateful for today? And our son was like in a bad mood in the morning. And I think he was like in the car and he's like, and I just know you're going to make me think of something that I'm grateful for today. And I was like, yeah, I am.
I love it. I love it.
You have to retrain your brain to be constantly looking for that. So when you get in those spaces, it's like, man, you don't get down too far,
Yes.
So
Yes.
Brenda, where?
thank you.
Yeah, where can our listeners find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
She's
I actually recently started using TikTok, and I actually really love it.
Yeah. All right.
She's an up and coming TikTok star, everybody.
and I know the name of your group is the Key Team, right?
The name of the brokerage is the Key
brokerage,
Team.
okay.
My team is Colorado Vision.
Colorado
with the Key
Vision.
Team.
Okay. Well, yes, please go check out Brenda. And I know we've connected on Instagram. So I see her there, but like she said, Facebook, Instagram, recently new to TikTok.
Hold on. Do you guys see how color coordinated we are today?
Oh my damn. It's not like we planned this.
This is crazy.
It's like meant to be.
I'm just surprised I haven't spilled coffee on this.
This is
I
a
love
milestone episode.
This is
Episode
pretty
70.
impressive.
I love it.
Okay, sorry. I just had to call that
No,
out because
that's
it's really,
good. I didn't
it's really
notice
great.
that.
It will never happen again.
No, never.
Okay.
Especially when you plan it.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, no. Anyways. Well, thanks, Brenda. We appreciate that you were here today and shared some cool stuff with us.
And thank you guys for the opportunity.
Yeah.
It was a great opportunity and a great experience.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. We'll see you guys on episode 71.